Let's start our Mo implementation. The first step is to update the parser. So we need to add cases for creating a record, getting a field from a record, and updating a record. We'll focus just on the first case, creating a record. So the syntax for record starts with an open curly brace, and then we have a sequence of field and expression pairs. So that's just what the pattern here inside the match expects. Then we construct a record E expression. The fields should all be symbols. So since we have a list of fields, we're calling map on syntax to symbol to get us a list of symbols for the record E. And similarly for the expressions, we map the parser across those, and that gives us our result. Moving now to the interpreter for records, first up is the record E expression. So NS is a list of symbols, and VS is a list of expressions. We'll keep the symbols just as they are. For each of the expressions, we map the interpreter over that, and we pass along our environment. Now for get E, we have R, which is an expression, and that should evaluate to a record, and we have N, which is a symbol. So the first step is to call the interpreter on R, and then we need to match on that to make sure that we get a record value as the result. Otherwise, we can raise an error. Inside the rec.v case, we want to use the symbol N to look up the value of a field inside the record. So for that, let's use a helper function. Fine, we'll take in a symbol, which is the field name that we want to look up, then a list of symbols, which are the field names inside of the record, and finally a list of values, which are the field values for that record. So find is going to walk through both lists, and if it finds a symbol in the first list that matches the symbol N that we're looking for, it's going to return the corresponding value. And if it doesn't find a match, then find will raise an error. So we'll skip over the implementation of find and move now to set. A set expression takes in R, which is an expression that should point to a record, N, which is a symbol, and V, which is another expression. And what we want to do is evaluate R and V and then do a functional update of the record, replacing the value for the field N with the value of V. So we need to call the interpreter on R and V to get back the values for those. Once we have the value for R, we want to do a match on that and make sure that we have a record. If we do have a record, then we need to do a lookup like before. So we need to find the field value that matches N and then return a new record value with the update. So for that, let's do a helper function. So the update function will take in a symbol, which is the field name that we're looking for, a value to swap in, and then also the list of symbol and the list of values from our record R. It's going to return a new list of values. Once we have that list, we can create a new record V. So we use the same names as before, and then we swap in the new updated list of values. Update does a match on the list of names. If the list is empty, that means we haven't found the symbol N on the inside, so we raise an error. There's no such field. If the two symbols are equal, then we can return our new value and then the remaining values from the record. And if they're not equal, then we keep the first value in the list V's, and then we call update recursively, searching through the rest of the lists. And with that, we finished our interpreter for Mo with functional records.